So I'm cruising along on the internet and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be another quiet Friday, catch up on some sleep, talk to some friends, you know, same old, same old. And then I will go on to BatmanOnFilm.com, which is the premier place to go for news on The Dark Knight Rises and related Batman content. Highly recommend visiting that website. It's one of my top 5. And I see a photo that I wasn't expecting to see for a while. The first official picture of Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. And people want to hear my thoughts on it, and you know, I really don't have any. I'm pretty reserved because we don't really see that much. What we do see, it says a lot, just like the Superman picture. She's riding the Bat Pod, or the Bat Cycle, whatever you want to call it. So that obviously says that, you know, if she's a villain, she beat Batman and took his pod, or she's a hero who's helping Batman and he let her borrow his ride. I'd like to think the first one, but you know, whichever one's cool, and she's obviously going to play a big role if she's riding the Batpod. So this is good news. That's a good sign. The costume itself, people want to, you know, nitpick, and that's just not me. I don't nitpick costumes. I prefer to nitpick the experience, because that's when you actually have something presented to you the way it's meant to be. It's like looking at a 5-star meal, but just looking at it and saying, wow, that looks pretty good, except, you know, the side dish looks a little iffy. But then when you actually try it, it's an amazing meal. And it might not look that amazing, but you can tell that it's been well prepared, that people worked very hard to make sure it tasted just right. But just looking at that, you can't tell all that. You just know that a master chef made it, and it has a great chance of being good, but you don't know for sure until you try it. Seeing these official pictures is kind of like that. Chris Nolan's a master chef. These pictures are samplers of his dish, if you will, his movie. And people who nitpick the hell out of these pictures, I really don't understand, because it's a teaser pic. It's not like we're seeing her in action in a trailer or something. That would be very different, and I would have a much longer reaction on that. But I can give you a few thoughts on what I think of it. It does look like they're going with the sleek, modern approach to Catwoman, where it's just sleek, leather, vinyl, whatever look to her, where she has just a jumpsuit, really, and there's the cat cowl, which is missing, unfortunately. But, you know, I'm sure they'll find a way to sneak in, maybe not the cat cowl, but, you know, something that pays homage to that look or resembles it somehow. You know, Chris Nolan wouldn't ignore something that important to the character, and he might not see it as important. If he doesn't see it as important and he still does the character, then obviously, you know, he knows what he's doing. Some people say that they're hoping to see a tail. There's not going to be a tail in the suit. I mean, come on. There's just no way there's going to be a tail built into that jumpsuit. I mean, for what? There's no point in function for the tail. Now, what can happen, and what has happened for years, is that she'll probably have a whip sometime. You can't do Catwoman without a whip. You just can't do it. And she'll have the tail that looks like a tail from her carrying her whip around. That's much, much, much more likely to happen. Probably in at least one shot you're going to get that. Maybe if fanboys really want to see it, they'll, I don't know, see her carrying the whip around, and they'll, like, maybe move around in their chair at just the right angle, or look at it the right way to, like, say, oh my gosh, she has a tail. Probably going to happen that way. She has goggles, which, you know, going back to the modern Catwoman, that happens. The modern Catwoman does have goggles. It helps her, like, with night vision and stuff like that. It really gives her a one-up on things, and allows her to be a cat burglar when she wants to be, or do good when she wants to be. She goes her own way. She's a cat. She does what she feels like. And yeah, not much else to say about this pick, other than I want to see more. I'd like to hear her voice, because the Catwoman voice, depending on the interpretation, has been very different. Well, actually, that's not true. The Catwoman voice has traditionally, by all versions pretty much, has been very confident, almost dominating in the way that she comes across. Some, like Eartha Kitt, most famously, has the purr, where she rolls her R's. I can't roll my R for the life of me, so I'm not even going to do it. But Yeah, I'm sure Anne Hathaway will have a really confident attitude that will come across. And to me, that's really what it is all about. The costume is important and it's great, but it doesn't have to, match the comic panel completely because this is an adaptation. What I prefer to have happen is if the character's attitude or the character's origins are paid homage to. So the attitude of the character is very similar or adapted, but still showing signs of paying respect to where it came from and the variations before it by what it does. So in that respect, I'm sure Anne Hathaway's attitude is gonna reflect that. And when we see how she acts with this costume, sure people will be able to overlook a lot, like no cat cow, stuff like that. People will say, wow, she really is Catwoman, and that's what's going to happen. Now, another thing, people want me to talk about the Bane picture, or his costume, and I'm not even going to bring up the leaked photos of set. Yes, I've seen them, I can't help myself, but it's not the way they're meant to be seen. And, I'm not even going to talk about that. But the official picture that came out a few weeks ago, people have been asking about that, and I didn't comment on it because like I said, there wasn't much to comment on. He's wearing his gas mask, or whatever you want to call it, his Venom mask, and he was shirtless, so you didn't really see that much. I mean, you might as well have been looking at I don't know, whoever wears that stuff. Like one person said, if someone had some freaky night with Catwoman, and that would be awesome. But no, there's not much to comment on with the official picture. I think you saw a lot more of him in the teaser trailer. That's why I made that huge video about that. But I have no thoughts on the picture because I think I covered that in my trailer review. So if you want to hear my thoughts on Bane, watch the trailer review. I will say that I'm sure a lot of people were expecting the Venom to play some part, like tubes or in his arms or his back somehow, like that looked like this. But we may or may not see that. I think the Venom is going to be injected through the gas mask. That's why his mouth seems to be covered a lot, even in the leaked set photos, unfortunately. So yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Probably not going to have him stuck up with tubes and all that crap. Maybe, I don't know. There might be a scene somewhere in the movie that does that. Or this could just be one photo. You never know with Chris Nolan. He can do so many different things with these characters. That's what makes this so exciting and such a great thing to talk about. So I think that's it. And anyway, if you want me to comment on anything else, feel free to let me know. I'll see what I can do. Like I said, my time is very tight. And I'm Silver Lightsaber. I'll see you later.